the middle.
Okay, that's a good segue, actually, Heather, to you, because as has been reported recently, you are, I believe, advising Hillary Clinton on this topic, on inequality, on growing the middle. Talk to us about what that's going to look like.
Well, I can't tell you exactly what it's going to look like, but what I can tell you is, some of the issues we've been talking about. I mean, it's exactly what we've been talking about here. I mean, first, I think it's excellent that we've started this conversation by talking at the top. Because too often when we talk about inequality, we start by talking about the poor and what little crumbs we're going to give, rather than really starting where the problem is, which is at the top. But I want to pivot off what Simon said about it's about growing the middle. One of the things that I think to really make this real to people is to talk about how inequality actually is played out across and within families, right? When we talk about it, sort of this abstract thing, finances, it's somewhat abstract. What is like my mom or regular Americans, how do they think about this? Well, what they know, and what all of us know, is how inequality plays out in our lives each and every day. And when you think about how inequality has grown, it's not just a number. That means that for regular middle class and working class families, incomes haven't grown. We know that those families have coped. They haven't had a lot of options, and there are 3 different ways that you can cope when your income doesn't grow. You can try to spend less, you can try to work more, or you can borrow a lot of money. And American middle-class families and working-class families have done all 3, or they've tried all 3. But certainly we all know that the costs that middle-class families have been facing have been increasing, especially big fixed costs like education and healthcare and housing and these things. So most families have actually taken that second option. They've actually worked more. And that's a place where we have done very little to really rethink the new set of basic labor standards that those families need. And I was very excited to see that in this report that they've put growing the middle. It's not just about wages. It's also about the quality of jobs people have and the access to work family supports. That whole basket of issues, from paid family leave to paid medical leave, and issues around predictable scheduling and scheduling practices that are so germane to the bread and butter, in and out daily experiences that people have. And I think if we were to focus on that, which I'm really glad that the report does, we'll actually be able to connect with people's everyday reality and connect the dots between how what's happened at the top has led to this economic insecurity and anxiety for families in the middle. And maybe that's a way of talking about these things.
Okay, so that's really a great point. We're going to come back to that.